Hi guys, welcome back to another cinematic mic review. Today I'm reviewing James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I just came back from the theaters watching The Suicide Squad, and I have to say that I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was entertaining, but I have to admit that I think I went in with my expectations high. So I thought it was going to be something big and epic, and I think the critics are praising it to be something new. A lot of people are saying that it's something like fresh, something. But for me, if I'm being honest, I don't think it's anything like really like inventive, like really big time. I still think it's a good movie, but it's just that it's a movie. It's a good movie. It's entertaining, but it's nothing big as something a big time creative, something different. It just seems like someone actually did a good movie with the Suicide Squad, and that has to do with James Gunn. I wasn't a fan of David Ayer's The Suicide Squad. I remember I was really excited to see that film, and I came out of that theater disappointed when I saw that film. I think that's the only time saw that film was just in the theater, and then after that I never watched it again because I thought it was really bad and I was disappointed. And then I was thinking about it, like, you know I don't think I would be interested in another Suicide Squad after that Suicide Squad if there was a sequel to it. But then they said that James Gunn was attached to it, and that got my interest. That got me interested in it because I mean we know James Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy, and we know that was something fresh. That was something new at the time. That was for me. It was. I'm not sure for you, but I know it was for a lot of people. But that was something just different, but entertaining and something fresh, something new. And so I had a good feeling that James Gunn would do a good job. I was like, wow, I actually think he's gonna do a good job. And then when I followed the whole news of when he was casting people and all that, and then when the trailers came out, I got even more interested and more interested. And I knew already by then that what, I'm definitely gonna buy a ticket and I'm gonna go watch the movie. I have faith in James Gunn. I got this shirt because I have faith in James Gunn. I would have not bought it if I didn't have faith in James Gunn. That's something I do. I try sometimes. I remember the movie It. I wanted a T-shirt of It, and then someone told me, "Why don't you buy it?" I'm like, I don't know, because I don't know if I'm gonna like the movie or not, and so I don't want to have a shirt that it's a movie that I don't like, or the movie comes out bad. I mean, for me, I didn't like it, but I know it came out good, but for me, it was only a personal thing. It wasn't my cup of tea. But here with James Gunn, I really had a good feeling already. Like, you know what, I think I am gonna enjoy this movie. So I got the shirt, and I went to the theater today with it, and I'm glad that I have the shirt. And James Gunn, yeah, he did a good job. Uh, I I forgot. No, I didn't forget. Um, I forgot what I was gonna say. Uh, Let me say. I think I was gonna say this. You know, the Suicide Squad. I remember I got introduced to this. I didn't know anything about the comics. I'm not a big comic book guy, but I didn't know anything about the Suicide Squad. The reason how I found out about the Suicide Squad and how I knew it was from comics was because of the show Arrow when they made the Suicide Squad. That was my introduction to the Suicide Squad, and I really love those episodes where it's about the Suicide Squad, and that's how I learned. That's when I started looking it up. I'm like, oh, cool. There's a team known as the Suicide Squad, and some of these villains, and they go on and do this job for Amanda Waller and all that. Task Force X and all that. And so that's how I got introduced. And then when David Ayer was making a film of it, I was like, oh, cool. I know him from the the show, and I'm like, now they're gonna make a film, an actual film about it, Hollywood and all that. It's not gonna be on TV. This is actually gonna be a movie, and one of my favorite directors, David Ayer, is gonna direct it. So I was excited for that. That went downhill. I After I saw the Suicide Squad, I only saw that movie once. I only saw it in the theaters once, and I never saw it again. And the reason I never saw it again was because it was so bad for me. It was a bad movie. And it was the first time I was disappointed in like David Ayer. I felt bad. I still had to like defend him because I'm like, please don't judge David Ayer only because of this film, because he has some good writing for me, and he's a good director. I think he's one of my favorites. Uh, so I was like, damn, that's messed up because probably David Ayer's gonna get trashed on this, But yeah, so that's how my introduction. And then I saw Suicide Squad, Assault on Arkham, I think, and that was a great film. And I there's something about the Suicide Squad from Arrow and the Suicide Squad Assault on Arkham, there's something that brings something kind of dangerous, this like dangerous thing to it. And I didn't feel that with the first Suicide Squad, and I didn't like the villain of the first Suicide Squad. I thought it was just all over the place, and I just thought it was whack. I was like, it was just like bad for me. I was like, it didn't bring that feeling that I got from the show Arrow or the feeling that I got from Assault on Arkham. Um, and this movie here, it actually did kind of bring that. So I was excited. I was glad that that happened. The movie is action packed. It has great comedy in it. The characters are likable. I mean, you really fall for these characters. The James Gunn does something with the opening, which is just something where you just it's a whole laughing your ass off type of thing, where he kind of just lived up to this whole thing from like the beginning's just all set up, and then it just like changes into this whole other thing, which just makes you laugh so hard. And that's what I liked about the film, and I was like, wow, we're gonna be on a roll with this film. That this film's gonna be great. It's gonna be funny. And then we go on, and I gotta admit, like even as we were going on, that part's probably the most funniest. And that's the thing is like when you have the most funniest thing, and then you're trying to continue on, it can like go down that after if you don't put more things as funny as the opening. So I felt kind of a little bit like some scenes in the middle of the film were kind of dragging. Sometimes it just felt like them wandering around and scenes just playing to music. So it kind of threw me off, but it wasn't bad. I do like the characters. I like Bloodsport. I like Ratcatcher, Polka Dot Man, David Dalsmachian, who I'm a fan of. I just talked about him in the review for because he's Calendar Man in Batman: The Long Halloween, and I'm excited to. Batman: The Long Halloween Part 2 comes out on DVD next week, which I'm gonna buy. So it's cool for David Dalsmachian, and then John Cena as Peacemaker is really funny. I gotta tell you that John Cena is not really a favorite actor of mine. I mean, the guy's cool and all that probably, but as an actor, I don't really like him as an actor. I remember I saw him in Bumblebee, and I couldn't stand his acting. I think I left that day. There was an excuse, not from me, but from someone else, that I got to leave the theater. And yeah, now I told him, I'm like, I'm just glad I left because I couldn't stand John Cena's acting. I just don't think the guy can act. Like I can't take him serious. But right here, I'm not sure if his acting actually was good or he was just good because it's a comic book character. But it was entertaining to see him. I liked him in this film. So that was funny. Idris Elba is great. And then King Shark that I have on my shirt right now. He was really what I expected. He had a lot of funny moments. So he's really one that I think people will really enjoy. Yeah, so I do like this movie with the way they worked with the characters. It kind of brought that feeling that I kind of wanted. It didn't bring it exactly. There's still something in me that kind of feels like I want to see a film with the feeling that it gave me from the show Arrow and the feeling that I got from the movie Assault on Arkham. This one felt like it was getting closer to there. It was getting closer to there where there's like I guess these characters are at risk and all that, and they are villains, and so they do all these crazy things, which they did in this film, which was great. Um, so, but there's still something kind of like it's not all the way perfect for me for what I envision a Suicide Squad film. Yeah, I like the beginning of the film, and then I like kind of like towards the end. I like right when the whole situation happens. I'm trying not to give like spoilers here, but like when there's kind of like betrayal. So that's kind of where I like it because I'm like, oh, cool. This is kind of like what I want to see is like betrayal against like one another, you know. But I felt like it was just too little. I wish there was more like I guess I wanted more betrayal from other characters, and I guess there was not that much betrayal in this film. But it was still entertaining to see these characters come alongside each other and then going on a mission. But yeah, I wanted more betrayal, and I thought that would be cool. And right when we got like all this conflict, like at the end, when you kind of realize, oh shit, like yeah, okay, this is the whole Suicide Squad thing. Like, who's gonna make it out alive and all that. Yeah, we haven't got like a good movie like this in a while, you know. With the whole thing last year, Sarah, all these things got moved and all that. And I think the last good film I saw when theaters reopened, I think probably for me it was Godzilla versus Kong. Went to go see the Conjuring was the actual last one that I saw. I think that was the very last one I saw. I saw Quiet Place. I know I saw Quiet Place Part Two, and I liked that one in theaters. But the Conjuring, I'm not sure that one came out after Quiet Place, but I was disappointed in that one. Um, but yeah, I saw. I think the Suicide Squad was a great like comedy action film. Uh, James Gunn actually delivers. It's his style and all that. So, like I said, I enjoyed the film. I think it was really entertaining. I did get bothered with the enemy, I think you've seen it in trailers. It's like a starfish. Uh, I, I was looking at it and I'm like, oh well, that's kind of like a weird villain. I don't know anything about that starfish, but I'm pretty sure it was comic book accurate or whatever. It's a villain in the comics. But I kind of felt like it threw me off with that type of villain. I wish it was an actual like human villain or like someone behind it more. Uh, but I like this one. I like this one as a Suicide Squad film. The other one I didn't like also because I didn't like it because of the villain too, Enchantress or whatever, or her brother who turns into like, or I'm not sure it was her who turns into like this monster. And it just kind of threw me off, and I don't know. I just want Suicide Squad to be kind of like, yeah, it can be comedic, it can be gory, but I still kind of want it to have this seriousness and this kind of like risky vibe to it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get like a good Suicide Squad movie, but I like. You can laugh at me or if you want, whatever. But I really like. I got introduced to the Suicide Squad from Arrow, and I like the feeling that I had when I saw those episodes of the Suicide Squad. I liked it when they came back. I think they came back another time, and then I liked Assault on Arkham. So I don't think there's ever gonna be one that's kind of like Assault on Arkham. But yeah, that's my review on the James Gunn, the Suicide Squad, and I do actually recommend that you guys watch it. It's a good film. It's entertaining. That's my review on James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe.